Hey, my name is Scotty and thanks for joining me today as I do this urban sketching tutorial step by step. This is the reference I'm going to be sketching. I love this reference so much. You have people, you have this nice awning and lots of interesting details like the bottles on the shelves and things on the tables, the bags. I've got lots of details, so I'm going to have fun sketching that. Love you to sketch along with me. All you need is a pen, any pen, and a sketchbook, and then we're going to add a wash at the end. So let's get sketching. So I'm going to hold my pen in a really nice loose grip and hold it at a bit of an angle, not too high up and not too low. We'll start in the top corner about here, where the reference is the top corner of the green awning there. And we'll go across. So I'm not holding my pen too tightly, moving it from my elbow. You can see I'll lock my wrist here. We're looking at those really nice, interesting wires. Down there, there's another little box hanging off there. All this adds so much interest to the sketch. Okay, and then we've got that white box. That's the awning and the white bar there. I'm not concerned about getting straight, I just got to get that rectangle looking correct. So if it's a bit off, you can add a second line to adjust it. Then there's a little awning with the nice curvy loops at the bottom. Shall we add snack bar across that? Let's try adding our font. Okay, so we'll just draw the letters like this. There you go. So we don't have to be it's just an impression, not too exact. I'm using quick little lines there. What country do you think this is? What country would have a snack bar? Maybe every country has a snack bar. I'm guessing it's somewhere in Europe, and some people are on holidays and they've come down from the plane and they can't get into the hotel yet, so they're having a snack. I've got all these bags here. I'd like to bring it into this zone so I create a bit of interest, and I'll bring this lady up a tiny bit. Don't want her to bump her head on the awning, but she's got a mask on. So just breaking those shapes down. So then we go back, see how far that back arches back, and then the front like this, the shoulder, and then that strap. So the arm here should be just a bit longer than the head. Okay, now we do the wrist and a little square on the end, and the fingers sticking out of that square, and then another. You can do a box, and then she's holding a phone or a tablet. She's recording all the food this tourist would like. Now we've got another chair here. It's really nice chairs. And then just to bring it out a bit more, I can see a bag here. We have bags down here too. So just going around each shape. It looks a bit awkward to be traveling with that many bags. Maybe you've experienced that where you've got to a hotel early and you can't get in yet and you have to go and find a snack. I went traveling with my wife around Europe. We actually just tried to travel with little backpacks on trains, and so we only had a few pairs of clothes, but we managed to get through the whole trip. I can imagine it'd be difficult if you had this many bags rolling over those cobblestones. Okay, so we've made a nice little section over here which will leave a bit of white space there when we add watercolor. And on this side, maybe we'll bring it in instead of out, and we'll have this man here. I really like his walking style. It's going to be nice to sketch that at those angles. So keeping it very simple. You can also look at your other head there. The elbow comes in, and then you've got that little square on the end, and then some fingers. Okay, and then this side, might have drawn him a little bit too big, those shorts, the end of the pants, so I'll bring it up a little bit there. Just going to wander in and pay for his coffee, and then exaggerate that curve out there for the leg. Okay, and then the other leg comes down like that. Okay, great. I think that'll be really nice. And then the next important thing, I like this, there will be white space there and a white space there, coming down here, and then I'll bring this up here. So the next person, or she'll be about there, so her head here. She's closer, so even though her head is in the same line almost, her body will be a bit longer. Loosen up that pen, Scott, just reminding myself not to hold the pen too tightly. Sometimes you can be sketching as you're looking up. So I'm looking up and my pen's doing a little bit of work for me. And then the arm here, so it comes in like this. Her leg comes back out. She's just about to take a step. You can see her shoes just off the ground. If you have trouble drawing those little details like the shoe, I have done a tutorial on my Patreon where I explain how I draw a shoe in a really simple way. That's one of those details that you never thought you'd need to learn with this kind of sketching, but it does help having little strategies. Okay, now the next figure I want to draw is this person here who's choosing his snack. Good nose. Right in the middle of the side of the head is that ear. And that length there, just check. 1.5 heads, 1 and a bit. Do this last figure here. He's right in the background, you can't really see him, but I really think that'll help composition. So like this, drawing those big shapes. Arm, little square on the back of his hand, and then fingers. Some details we can add a bit of black. So let's draw some things on the table. I've got a Coke bottle. And then on this side, we've got a whole set of tables, but because of my limitation with my paper, I don't know how much I can draw in there, but definitely I want something linking up here. If I go in the line with that table and come across still like this, and make that angle come back so it's going behind these people. The chair. And that brings that in without having to add in all those details, and the person's walking there with the doorway. Nice little details here. Now I can use my pen even lighter to get all these details here, but still want that same level of line quality. So I'm not going to speed up too much actually, and give some impressions of what's going on here. And on this side we've got all these bottles. Okay, lots of closely packed bottles in here. Just impressionistic, very nicely shaped bottles here. Different types of caps. In my earlier days I was an industrial designer, and I used to design a few bottles myself. So it's nice to see those kind of beautifully designed bottles. I think in something like this, the composition is the most tricky thing to do in some ways, because you've got a limited space and there's so much detail. So that sort of silhouette there I'm looking for, I think will help when I've got the color on. So let's get on to the wash now. We've done the line work. So I'm going to be using my Pentel water brush pen here. It's a very nice pen, it works really well. It doesn't leak too much water out like some other pens. So I'm enjoying using that. So I've got my Winsor & Newton watercolors here, and I'll make a nice, really light wash. So adding lots of water in that. And I've got a bit of paper here I can test. See how light that is. I'm going to do the green. Start here, bring that across like this. The one here. And I have this little cloth with me, and I can clean the brush, squeeze a bit of water out, and then it'll clean out that wash. So ultramarine, some bluish in there. It's almost blue on that pillar there. This is a very light wash stage, just blocking out those sections that are blue. So before I do around the other clothing parts, I'll add some burnt sienna. Yeah, the hands. Just add it to all the skin. I'm just going black. This bag here. Her skirt, the chairs, this amber colour. Just added a wash on the paper there to test. I don't have as much room in that little tray there. For the face, let's add a little bit of red. This is a rose. I think that'll sink in. There's a lighter blue here. I think this is called cerulean blue. Burnt umber. Here's some brown hair. We've got some red, a bit more red around. I'll make his pants green as well. Okay, so it's got some nice light watercolor. And now we'll get the purple for some shadows. There's a shadow up here, and there's some shadows in there. And even some of this front. Add a bit across here. And I'll go through and I'll make sure everything that's on the left side of things has a little bit of shadow in it. I'm going to do a lot of the inside purple on top of the other colours, but you'll still be able to see those ones come through. So I'm going to let that dry now so we can add some more details on top. Okay, so now that's dry, I've got a darker purple, which was the purple with a bit of ultramarine and a bit of the rose. And now let's add even darker shadows in here, leaving little gaps, especially that door around the people, which will help them to stand out a bit. And I'll even add a bit around here. It's quite dark in there. I did that whole thing purple. I was only actually supposed to do the bottom part here, so I'll make this darker. And also, maybe on the sign, I'll add some darker green. So once that's dry, we've only got one more step to go. It's to add the highlights. Got my Posca fine tip pen here, which is really great for going on the top of that. Okay, I've given my Posca pen a really good shake, And so the paint should be opaque. So we'll go over the most important thing I really want to do is this sign, especially those thicker parts of the letters. Now the other thing is this, see the little reflections on these lines. It's actually quite nice in the reference there. Some of the best reflection lines are through, sort of break through the shadows a little bit like that. There's a white hem on the end. Now what I'm doing is just going around all the objects here, and we'll add a little bit of a white highlight on the top, as if the light's coming down like this on some of those edges like here, and it's just as quick and loose as the line work, maybe like a little glint. And then as we work our way towards the back, we can add lots of nice thinner lines along here, still very impressionistic, sparkles in the background because there's lots of bottles. You can see they're glinting, and because that's in shadow, it really stands out a lot. So there we go, we've captured this scene in a really loose and expressive way. I hope you enjoyed that technique. So the real-time version of this will be on my Patreon for all my supporters. I've also got a tutorial that's similar to this right here. You can check that out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.